We're going to continue our series on healthy relationships, talking today to 10th graders about the topic of human trafficking. Today, it is our goal for students to be able to define what human trafficking is, as well as leave being equipped with some state safety strategies. What is human trafficking? We're going to start by watching a story of a young lady named Hope who was a victim of human trafficking, and we can learn a lot from her experience.
When my daughter Hope was young, she was a straight A student.
I was a normal, regular kid. I loved to do theater. I loved soccer and cheerleading.
Hope was filled with innocence, joy, and ambition.
When I was 14, my whole life changed.
My daughter Hope was kidnapped by sex traffickers. Hope was forced into prostitution.
It all started because I posted on a social media site that I hated my mother. A woman messaged me back telling me that I could go stay with her and we'd go partying. She showed up within the next 45 minutes and I was gone.
The suspects target girls who post comments about a negative home life on social media sites and chat rooms.
The 14-year-old's, I hate my mom. She doesn't understand me. I can't wait to get out of here.
That's how police say William Jacobs and Shayla Williams met a young North Texas victim who was just 14 years old.
I walked into the motel room. I see a man sitting in the corner. The first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Take off your clothes so we can take these pictures." And I'm like, no, I'm not going to take my clothes off. He said, "So you want to do this the hard way?" He hit me a couple times, and after that, I was out like light. I woke up in the closet. The closet that I was in was about the size of me right here. After they took me out the closet, they took crushed up pills and they forced them down my throat. After they force fed me pills, I would try to move my body, but I couldn't pick myself up. They made me feel catatonic. After they drugged me, I had my first client.
Hope says she knew if she wanted to make it, she had to find a way to cope.
In order to survive my kidnapping, I had to create an alter ego. They told me that my name wasn't Hope anymore. It was Sophia. So that's the name that I took on. Sophia is the girl that walks with her head high. She was the one who dealt with all the clients and the Johns and beatings. When I was with the traffickers, they never fed me. My source of food would be picking it out of the trash, drinking the water from the faucet. I bit my nails a lot. One time I was taking a shower and he busted it open and beat me with the belt because I locked the door.
The couple is accused of trafficking the teen in 8 different states in only a 3-week period.
The traffickers made me sleep with men in each state. Over 20 men a day. I could never be Hope again after that. I was never going to be the same girl.
Hope's mother says her daughter's terrifying ordeal claimed more than one victim.
So in Hope's story, we understand that human trafficking is modern-day slavery and involves the use of force, fraud, and coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act. This was true with Hope's story. And every year, like Hope, millions of men, women, and children are trafficked in countries around the world, including the United States, as well as specifically in Indiana. So when we're talking about force, we mean the physical restraint or physical harm or the sexual assault and beatings. This is like the monitoring and confinement is often used to control victims, especially during some early stages of victimization. Hope talked about the use of force. She talked about being confined into a closet, being held down, being forced drugs, and being beat. She definitely had the use of force as a means to keep her victimized and to keep her trafficked. Another way or another means that traffickers use to control their victims are through coercion. This means threats of serious harm or physical restraint against any person. It's psychological manipulation. It's document confiscation. That means like taking a passport or a driver's license or any kind of paperwork that you may need to maneuver around in your community. It's also shame and fear-inducing threats that they would share information, like that they would post things on social media or they would tell things to parents or school people and share pictures. It also is, there's coercion, and sometimes there might be threats that they'll contact authorities. Even though they're the traffickers, they threaten getting authorities involved because maybe the victim has participated in some illegal activity, and so they're afraid of that. A third means is fraud. And when I say fraud, I mean basically lying. So the traffickers may use false promises regarding employment or wages, working conditions. Hope's traffickers said that they were going to help her have a good time, help her leave the situation with her mom. Some might lie about their relationship with you. They may say they love you, they want to marry you, they're helping you get a better life. There can be like promises of things like becoming a model or getting involved in some kind of industry or work. But those things change, and working conditions and compensation and agreements and the nature of the relationship are all changed. So what can you do? How can you prevent this? Well, it is possible. Well, here we're going to share some safety tips and tips to keep you safe and to prevent trafficking happening to you and to someone else. The first safety tip we're going to share is keep your phone charged. Don't leave your house with a phone that is uncharged or has very little charge. It's important to be responsible with your battery usage. Make sure you have ability to get a hold of someone as you need it. Also, keep social media accounts private. In Hope's story, we heard that her first contact with her traffickers were via social media account. She was not private, and she was able to have people communicate with her in a chat room that she did not know. Also, always use a buddy system. Go with a friend, leave with a friend. In Hope's story, she went and met some people she didn't know by herself. If you're at an event with a friend, your buddy, and they want to leave, then you leave too. Or if they don't want to leave, then you stay. You always want to leave and go and come with the same person. Don't leave your friend with people you don't know well, even people who seem really, really nice. Always consider tracking app on your phone. That's not to be intrusive, but it's to have people aware of where you're at and can find you quickly, as well as making sure that you can get help immediately. Always make sure someone knows where you're at all times. That means if you're going to a school event or you're going to a movie or a party or any of those things, make sure somebody knows the address of where you're going to be at. If you leave or change locations, make sure you're texting people that so that people know where you're at all times. It's also not a bad idea to have like a secret code or a phrase for when you might suspect some danger. You might not be in a position where you can have an open conversation or you can text without somebody watching. But if you have a secret code and you're tracked on your phone, then somebody knows that they can need to come get you immediately because you suspect danger. And also always, most importantly, don't be afraid to say no. Even if the person has some kind of perceived power over you, like they're an adult or they're someone of some authority, make sure you don't be afraid to say no. You have a voice, don't be afraid to use it. Also, always listen to your intuition. That little voice that tells you that something doesn't feel right, trust it. Honor that intuition, honor that voice by listening to it, and make sure you're always safe. So if you need help, we have a resource we're putting up here. It's called the National Trafficking Hotline. I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and get a piece of paper out, write this number down, then take a picture of it and add it to your phone. It's important to have these resources available to you because you may never know when you may need it, or you may know somebody who will need it. So the number is 1-888 373-7888. Again, I'm going to say that again, 1-888-373-7888. And you can also text 233-733. That number is 24 hours and it's 7 days a week and it's confidential. You can chat, you can get some advice, and you can report things that you feel like needs reporting. And also to remember that not every traffic situation looks exactly like Hope. Sometimes you're in a trafficking situation where you've been groomed for a long time. It's an uncomfortable relationship. Those are things that you can report. If you don't want to report it to the hotline, you can always see your school counselor or a trusted adult with these concerns. As always, be safe.